All right, what's up, guys? We've got another episode of the Growth by Shawn podcast. Sandy Belmontez, what is up, playa?
What is up? Nice to see you, Shawn.
Yeah, it's nice to see you too. Kinda. Um,
All right, that's how we're gonna start this
well,
thing.
you're
All
you're
right.
like, how are we even gonna you're just bitching and complaining already about how we're gonna what are we gonna talk about? How are we gonna find something to talk about for an hour? Bro, we
Yeah,
have we have chatted for many hours already. So
we have.
if you're telling me that we can't find nothing to talk about, then we should just stop right now.
Oh no, we'll have plenty to talk about. It's just
All right.
what we want to talk about.
Okay. Well, let's just start with just a little bit. You can a little bit about you or your story or what you
Okay.
do. Just lay it on me and we'll go from there. You can start anywhere. Start
Yeah.
anywhere.
How far do you want me to go back?
This is up. This is open interpretation.
Okay, okay. All right. So we'll just start with my fitness journey itself. So around 3, 4 years ago, my whole mission was really just to help impact lives, improve like the Hispanic community, but really just here in Arizona, this is where we're from. So really just like that West Side culture. Um, Want to do that in the medical field, kind of switch vehicles. So not doing it in the medical field anymore, kind of focused more so on like the gym aspect, the fitness, nutrition, accountability with that. But had my own gym, didn't end up well with business partners. So grew that vision into something else, went online, and now I have my own facility. So I've been doing that now for the last 3 weeks, have been loving it, and really just trying to grow it from here. So that's where I'm at right now.
That's it. That was the quickest synopsis anyone has ever given me.
Oh, depending on how deep you want to go onto each part, then we can go in there. But
All
it'll
right.
it'll that could be an hour itself.
Okay, okay. Why don't we just start with how you got into your own gym? A little
Okay.
bit, just like background about that, because I want to get into a little bit deeper on that, but we'll just start there.
Okay. So I got into my like this facility here,
The gym before,
the
and
gym before.
then yeah, and then into
With
this
my
one.
business partners. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, you want to go there, Shawn. All right. So with my business partners, so I was a medical assistant for 3 years, right out of graduating at GCU. So I was working there, trying to get into medical school, and then I ran into three guys, pretty much that loved like the gym industry, were already doing their own thing, but they were looking for like their own facility and their own place to grow, but they didn't have like a business aspect of it. It was kind of just doing their own thing, bringing in clients like here and there, but there was no like scalability on that aspect. It was just kind of they were doing their thing. So my aspect or my portion of that was like bringing in the business aspect and learning how to grow the business and like all the operation side of it. So we kind of all joined together. So there's four of us. So we each had like our roles. So I was business operation. One of them was like member retention, keeping them happy, programming, training. The other one was social media. And then the last one was nutrition. So like we all had our roles. We all knew what we were doing. And then we kind of just found our own spot, our own facility. But then with that, it we just had different visions on how we wanted to do things. But we got the own facility, had like we started with like 34 members. And by the end, when I left, so that was like a year and a half of doing that.
Hmm.
Loved it. Then we ended up at like 120, 150 members by the end of it.
Okay.
So yeah, so we scaled it pretty fast. Um, Loved the process, loved helping people along the way. And then I always work. I work like a good 60 plus hours.
Yeah, you're
So
crazy.
I just love it.
Your
And
drive is insane, like
thanks.
absolutely insane.
Yeah. So I mean, I was working pretty consistently there, just trying to keep the doors open. Like even though we were growing, there was still like a lot of growing pains that we had to go through. So I literally would like obsess like every night. I'm like, all right, how are we gonna do this? Like, how do we do this better? Like, even though people are getting results, like, how do we do better? So that's like literally what keeps me up at night. I'm like, all right,
Mhm.
how do I help these people and make sure that they're creating like that healthy lifestyle and that they can see the results long term and keep it, like maintain it. So yeah, worked that, did that for like a year and a half. And now I just took everything that we learned there and then brought over here.
Okay, let me ask you, why is it so important to help all these people?
I think I'm trying to fill a void because
Hmm.
I literally talked about this. like, okay, this weekend I was like super sad. I was in a slump, like
Okay.
literally, like and I never get that way. So it was like the first time that I genuinely felt sad.
You're never sad. You've never been sad before.
Not for no reason. So I've
Mm-hmm.
been sad and I could always
Mm-hmm.
pinpoint it to something.
Yeah.
But this past weekend, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, why do I feel like this?
Okay.
And then, okay, so I, this is kind of where this question goes back is like,
Mm-hmm.
why am I doing this? And like, so I put out a reel. I was like, I'm just gonna record myself. So I was already crying at that point. I was like,
Yep.
all right, like, why do I feel like this? So I was like, and what void am I trying to fill? So with my grandparents, always goes back to my grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
My grandpa never really exercised, obviously a Hispanic household, so we're eating a whole bunch of carbs, eating a whole bunch of just Mexican food 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
We grew up in Mexico, or he grew up in Mexico. We would go back and visit like 2 weeks every year growing up. So we would come from like here, have everything, go over there, literally like have to hand wash your clothes, like literally like it's a little ranch. So you
Mm-hmm.
get your animals, hens, all that stuff. So pretty much like we would go there 2 weeks, kind of realization of like what was going on and how they had their life. But he wouldn't work out, wouldn't like stay consistent, don't believe in doctors. So I think that's why I wanted to go in the medical field to change their perspective on that side of it. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
doctors are good. Like you have to find good people, but they always want to take care of you. And then if you were able to prevent that, then you wouldn't have like diabetes, high cholesterol, like all those things. So and then I was trying to fill, and I couldn't really fill in that gap. So then he passed away during COVID. And I'm like, what if I would have prevented that? Like
Mm-hmm.
he could have worked out. He could have had like less chronic illness, and then maybe he wouldn't have gotten, I mean, COVID happened, but
Mm-hmm.
he maybe wouldn't have passed away from it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's like, all right, if I'm able to help someone else's grandparent and then they can see their grandchildren, like now he's not gonna be able to see my kids. So it's like, now if I can help other people live longer to see their family, their grandkids, and just live a longer, healthier lifestyle. Like I think that's why I do what I do. So yeah, I
Shit.
think that's why I was really sad.
Yeah. Shit. Thank you for sharing because honestly, whenever people say I just want to help people, I like unless you can give me like a why like that, I feel like just I want to help people in general is just like this phrase that people use to kind of like
Blanket statement. Yeah.
yeah, it's just this blanket statement, but they don't have like a real why. And this was like actually like a real reason. And like this was super impactful for me. Just like just this quick little uh synopsis of like your why. So thank you.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, I want to also get into how you're trained by how you've been trained by Hormozi. Like I
Oh,
want like just a little bit of like the dirt, I guess.
okay.
You
So
know, how does it work?
gym launch is something that I've been with since, and that was kind of the main thing that my business partners and I didn't really get along with the way
Hmm.
Hormozi ran things.
Okay.
Because he has such a good business model, but at the
Hmm.
same time, it's very different from what most people want to run their businesses like, because
Okay.
they feel like, all right, I only met Hormozi once during like an actual conference call, and then he came on like a month and a half ago when you
Hmm.
had saw it.
Yep.
And then literally he just focuses on like marketing, acquisition, and then just keeping it so simple and then just getting so good at the basics and then
Mm.
just scaling that.
Mm.
Because I think people want to like overcomplicate things.
Yeah.
And especially in business, like you can find yourself doing a million things,
Hmm.
but then you're not even like progressing or you're not even
Yeah.
like seeing the results that you want, either numbers wise, business wise, like getting people results. So being trained under him, he literally just keeps it like so simple, but it
Okay.
wasn't like that long because then he sold like gym launch and all that stuff. But um he's just a whole different breed. Like I'm gonna
Hmm.
get to see him in April.
Hmm.
So he's coming to Phoenix in April,
Yep.
and then him and Layla will be here, and then I'm gonna see him at Gym Con in Florida in May.
Okay.
So I'll get to see him and like actually be there. But Yeah, gym launch just has their own style. Keep it simple,
Okay.
execute as fast
Okay.
as possible. Yeah, because I think people
Okay.
just tend to either overcomplicate it or just do too many things at once that they're not focused on it. So
Hmm.
main thing is just keep your eye on the prize, stay focused, and do what you do need to do. So he like praises do the boring work, which is
Hmm.
like all the little things, and
Yeah.
then just feel that.
So what does your day to day look like?
Oh, everything is scheduled out to a T.
Okay. So run me through how you schedule things out because like you're crazy busy, you
Uh,
know, and I feel like your work ethic is like badass.
mhm.
So how do you schedule things for the week, for the month, for the year? Like how does it all work when you're scheduling things out?
So usually it's on a week to week basis.
Hmm.
But like if I do have big events coming up, then I'll schedule it around that too.
Okay.
So like I know that on a day-to-day basis, there's like non-negotiables that I need to get done. Doesn't matter like what's going on in my life, whether I do feel sad or I'm good
Okay.
or life is great. I need to
Okay.
get that done regardless, even on vacation.
Okay.
Like
Like what?
those are things that need to get done. So I always need to have like 25 reach outs to leads that are coming in. So like
When you're on
sometimes,
vacation or
yeah, so
just when
regardless.
you're doing nothing? So
Huh?
every day of your life.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 25 reach outs, whether that's like DMs or people that come in through like Facebook, Instagram marketing. So Gym Launch like taught us that on how to scale that.
Hmm.
So we always reach out 25 at least.
Hmm.
And then sometimes if I can get 50, then it's like a really good day.
Okay.
And then just making sure that I'm getting my exercise in. So taking care of myself, like that is
Hmm.
always there as well. And that's usually an hour in the morning. And that has now had to switch since I'm in facility. So
Hmm.
being online, like I could literally do all of these things like in the morning, get it done. But now I'm teaching sessions. So I like that 6 a.m. session. So after that, then I'll get my workout in. And then I usually like sit down and make sure that I plan my day, but I'll show you my Google Calendar.
Hmm.
Watch. Oh, can I share my screen?
I think so. I don't even know how to share screen, but you
Oh,
can try.
you disabled it.
I disabled it. I didn't do anything.
Well, your Zoom doesn't let me. But no,
Okay,
okay, so I have
whatever.
everything
Well,
planned out by the hour. So whether like that's goal setting meetings, I'll usually start my meetings like prospects coming in.
hmm.
Um, from like 9 to 12. And then I have my like daily call meeting. So I have my like meeting with my coach if I have any questions on like how to run the business. That'll be
Hmm.
12 to 1. And then having people come in for like nutrition consultation calls, check-ins, Zoom check-ins, things like that from like 2 to 4. And then really just catch up on like any admin things from
Hmm.
like 4 to 6, and then sessions 6 to 7. And then I'll go through and like I like to do like handwritten cards for my members. So
Oh
like if
my God,
yeah. So
you are
if they
such a sweetheart.
when's the last time you got a handwritten card?
When was the last time? Uh, Probably. You know what? People really love me. People give me
All
handwritten cards
right,
all the
Sean, I
time.
know you're a great guy, but let's see. When was the last time?
It was probably within at least the last 6 months,
Oh, that's good. I
maybe.
literally only get them for like Christmas.
Nope, people love to write me love letters and things of that nature.
Well, it
So,
wasn't for me. So yeah, I'll write them handwritten cards, like whether
okay.
new members or like they like hit a PR or some type of accomplishment.
Wow.
Um, Something like that. So that way they can have that for their birthdays. Like I'll do reach outs and things like that.
Hmm.
So I'm just trying to like also gamify the process so it can be fun. So that's like my 2 hours of like, all right, what do I need to do? How do I celebrate my members? And then also just how do I make it more fun for them so
Okay.
they can, because a lot of them that are coming in are beginners, so they haven't worked out in years. So just trying to get them to enjoy the process and trust the process, but also make it fun at the same time. So it's a community. So like tomorrow we're gonna go hiking.
Okay.
Um, so
Huh.
it's like super nice right now.
Yeah.
And whether you're like online or in facility, like we're all gonna go hiking to Thunderbird Mountain, which is a fairly good mountain.
Okay.
So we'll do that for 2 hours. So like planning that out, that's probably like on a, so yes, I plan my day on a week, or I plan my weeks out, and then my months, I'll have like an overview, and then depending on events and years, that'll be throughout the year. So like I
Okay.
have 3 events this year
Hmm.
that I'm, and they're all my vacations are focused around business.
Okay. So is
So
business just like a business lifestyle overall like the goal, like for you?
My end goal?
I wouldn't even say end goal. Like, is that what you want to do with all of your free time is just business? Or do you think that's just what's going to get you further along?
I think that's what's getting me further along right now.
Okay. What would you
And
do if you had like free time?
okay, if I have free time, which I need to schedule in. So I schedule in my social time with my friends.
Okay.
Uh, so like I'll like tonight I'm gonna go out with some of my coaches and then get to like meet them. We're gonna out to a restaurant, so that'll be
Mhm.
like part of my fun. This past Tuesday I went to Taco Tuesday, so like that's all scheduled in. But for my free time, I love to do anything outdoors. So whether
Okay.
that's like going hiking, going bike riding. Sedona is like a really, really nice spot here in Arizona.
Hmm.
So then doing that. And then I'm gonna go skydiving sometime this month.
Okay.
So that should be fun. I have never done that. First time
Okay.
I tried to go, there was a sandstorm coming, and they're like, Andy, we can't jump. We were in the plane already like attached to our dude, and they're like, you can't go. And I was like, it's a 52-second drop. And then like you could see like the sandstorm coming, but I was like, it's 52 seconds. Like it's not gonna hit us by the time we're like on the ground, you know? And then they're like, no, you can't do that. And I was like, okay, cool.
Okay.
So that was like 6 years ago,
Yep.
and now I haven't been back. But so skydiving, I find fun. Just going out with friends, having a good time. I'm really simple. If you
Okay.
can give me tacos and margaritas, like we
Yep.
did that one day,
Yep.
then I'm good. We're set.
Do you think that do you want to schedule like more time for yourself then? Or do you feel like you're in a good spot of like how much time you have to yourself versus how much time you put into the business?
That's a good question. Um, at this moment in my life, I'm happy with my work-life balance because I do get to
Mhm.
schedule it and still get like the best of both worlds. Because
Okay.
also like I don't remember the last time I went to like the movie theater.
Hmm.
So it's like all those little things that if I am hanging out with friends, it's like that inner circle that I know is going to push me forward, not only like in my personal life, but also in
Hmm.
my business life.
Okay. Do
So
you have a
like,
lot of close friends or no?
like
How many?
five.
Five? I feel like five's a lot.
Really?
Yeah, five close friends.
Okay,
Like
so
close,
one that
close.
I see,
Like in your like real like tight circle, like they know the most about you.
three. The other
Three.
two are there,
See, the
but
other two
they're
are
fun.
there, but yeah. All right. That's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Um, let me let me ask you, what does money mean to you?
Okay, so even though I love impact and I want to change lives, and that is my main reason why, like money is a byproduct and money will get you places. So
Hmm.
even though I'm not driven by money, like I do want to be $1 million gym in a year.
In a
So
year?
mhm,
Why that number?
just because I want to do it in a year.
Okay.
Um,
But what does it mean? What does it mean whether you hit that number or don't hit that number?
it doesn't mean anything, but it's
Okay.
something that
It's
like
just a
I
goal that you have.
exactly.
Okay.
So with that, I mean, it means a lot, but like
Hmm.
I'll get to impact more lives. I'll have
Okay.
more revenue.
Okay.
I'll get to not only help them like on the gym aspect, but that's where I
Mhm.
want to bring the medical aspect in. So
Okay.
like get like nonprofit like medical trucks where it's like a PCP comes out or a
Hmm.
mammogram truck comes out and like for October like they'll get like free mammograms.
Hmm.
Um for like back to school drives, getting
Hmm.
kids like their backpacks with a whole bunch of school supplies because like filling all those needs you can't do that without money.
Okay.
So if I'm able to get more money, become $1 million gym, then I can just help my community that much more. And I'll get to
Okay.
travel.
Okay.
So I
Let me ask you.
yeah.
So what if it was like two sides of a spectrum here? What if like point A had you could impact 500 people,
Okay.
okay, but you made $300,000, or you could make $1 million, but you
Mhm.
impact 100 people. Which would you take?
Hmm. I would try to impact more lives.
Yeah, so 500 people, but less money.
Yeah.
Then
Because
the $1 million
that
doesn't really
will,
actually mean anything to you.
it's not as much as the impact.
Not as much.
Yeah.
So when you say impact, do you just mean like is someone just hitting a PR? Is that impact for you?
No, I think
Okay,
it's
what is
the
it then?
process to hit the PR that they have to
Mhm.
have that like mental shift.
Okay.
So many people think like it's not possible. Like all the people I talk to on a daily basis, like, can I really get there? Like, can I get my ideal physique?
Hmm.
And then they're like, I've tried like all of these things. So what's different now? But I think so many people live in like they're either their comfort zone or they're just scared of something or they're like, that isn't me. Like that isn't possible. But for me, like even in the business realm, even though $1 million like a year for it to become that gym is going to be hard. Like I've seen other people do it, so I know that it's possible. So I want these people to come in, see that it is possible, and then do it for themselves. So it's not really hitting that PR; it's believing that they can hit the PR, and then doing the things to get that PR eventually. And I think
So,
that trickle into every aspect of their life.
okay, so if the impact is actually just them developing the belief and like
Mhm.
buying into their own process, right? So they're like divorcing the outcome.
Yep.
Okay. So even if they don't get to their like X body weight, but they believe that they can get there, is that good enough?
Then I would want them to get there.
But what if they don't get there, but they still believe?
Okay, so but are they doing the daily things that they needed in order to get there? Because
Yeah.
believing is also one thing. Like I believe that I can be $1 million gym, but am I doing
Uh-huh.
the things on a daily basis to
Okay,
become?
so let's say that they're happy with where they're at.
Okay,
They're doing the things that are necessary for them to do, but
okay,
they don't go and hit their like ideal body weight. They go and it's,
yeah.
something different.
Are they happy?
Yeah, they're happy.
Then yeah, then I did my job.
Okay. So if that's the case, then if you're doing all the things that you
Yeah.
need to do to get to $1 million
Okay.
and you believe that you're going to get there, even if you don't get there, didn't you already like get there, quote unquote?
Yes, and I think that's
Yeah.
where I need to also work on it because you do need to divorce yourself from the outcome and like
Uh-huh.
you need to be happy in the day to day. And I
Mhm.
think that's where I am most of the time. And that's why I was so just perplexed this past weekend. I was like, why am I not happy? Like, why am I sad? And that's
Mhm.
why I could pinpoint it. But yeah, no, I would be happy if they were happy at that point and they were doing the things that they needed, but didn't hit that PR or didn't have
Okay.
that like end physique that they
Okay.
want.
All right. I'm just curious. This was like just me like kind of digging like at you basically.
Yeah.
Um, what was I gonna say next? Where did you get your work ethic? Has this always been you, or was this developed? Were you
No,
just
this
always hardcore?
no, I was a shy little kid.
Okay.
Uh, so growing up, so I was like surrounded by just a group of boy cousins, either
Hmm.
younger or older than me, and I was pretty much the only girl.
Hmm.
Because my parents had me at a pretty young age, so like with their cousins and their family, like I was kind of the oddball out, and then I was the only girl. So I grew up with a whole bunch of boy cousins. Then I had to defend myself because they're just all roughhousing, doing their thing.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, all right, cool. So I need to do that. And then my dad was like, hey, you need to like defend yourself, like physically too.
Hmm.
So he put me in martial arts. I was a
Okay.
shy little kid. Growing up in California, I only knew Spanish. So I was
Okay.
born in California, only knew Spanish for the first 7 years of my life. Moved over here to Arizona, 2001. Didn't know any English. So then just having like I think that's also what made me really shy because I wasn't like everyone else.
Hmm.
Um, and he's like, all right, you need to learn how to defend yourself and you need to learn how to like stick up for yourself in any situation. So I was like, all right, cool. So he put me in martial arts, super shy, didn't like interact with anyone. And 3 weeks in, they always like have you like lead a warm up. And I remember the first time I was 8 years old that I had to go up there and lead this warm up. I literally froze, like did not move. They're like, all right, like Miss Belmontez, like go back. And I was like, damn, okay. And then from then on, they just kept like putting you in that environment and like you need to succeed, you need to learn how to lead this warm up. And it's literally like the simplest like 5 minute warm up. That was like the first thing that I remember like accomplishing.
Okay.
So then that is like where it all started on just work ethic, discipline, but I also saw it in my parents. Like my
Hmm.
dad started his own construction company in California, came over here, and he worked from like the bottom. Now has a very successful construction company, a good team that has taken a while just to implement and have, but his work ethic is more like probably like twice as more as mine. So, and he
Hmm.
just always wants to make sure that we're well set. But so I saw it from him, I saw it from my parents, and then going into martial arts, I soon became like third degree black belt, leading warm-ups, leading graduations, leading women's seminars. So like I think that's where like my self-discipline came into play, because I
Hmm.
knew like if I'm putting in the work, like I will see the success, I'll see the outcome.
Hmm.
So that's where I got to see it growing up. Did martial arts for 10 years. And then I think all that, those disciplines and those lessons I used in school. I loved school. So
Ugh.
whether studying, yeah, loved it. Studying for like classes, like, all right, if I studied and put in the work, like I would get the good grades. And if I
Hmm.
didn't, then obviously my grades would reflect it. Um, and then I started like my own clinical skills club. So it was like you're learning all these things in the books, but then you're not able to implement it. And then no one wants to like bring you in as a volunteer. You can't do anything unless you have experience, but then you can't get experience. So like that whole cycle. So I was like, all right, let me start a clinical skills club. So you'll learn how to take like blood pressure, the vital signs, learn how to suture. So then I started that from the ground up. Um, had a mentor, brought him in. He would teach us things. He was a doctor, and then a couple other mentors as well. We built that. So then that is still going on right now at GCU. They've been killing it. But I think that's where like I took all those lessons and now put them in business. And now I'm actually getting to do it um out in the real world.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah.
We I don't think we would have gotten along in high school.
Probably
I would have
not.
hated. I would have hated you. I
I
was
mean,
like, I
yeah,
was
I
like,
was
I hate school.
sitting on
You sound
that.
like a nerd.
I am.
Yeah,
I love
but
to
no,
nerd
that's
out.
okay. That's okay. You know, I'm just giving
Self
you a hard time.
But yeah, so self-discipline has always been there, work ethic has always been there. I just really dive into my work ethic.
Hmm.
Where it's like some people are like, Sadie, you're a workaholic. And I was like, what else
Hmm.
would I possibly doing with my time?
Yeah.
So I think taking care of those hours and like scheduling the things that I want into my week to week, like
Hmm.
I'm happy. I love what I do.
So with your clients, then, do you try to instill like the same lessons that you have learned into them in
Mhm.
terms of like self-discipline and like work ethic, things like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's something that's been a little bit harder to do, only because
Okay.
again, that's more of a mindset shift.
Hmm.
But I think that's where I get to like have those one-on-one with them and then really correlate it to what's going on in their life. Because I think everyone is so different
Hmm.
on their upbringing, on what they see is like a hard work ethic, and the
Hmm.
things that they need to do in order to get the results that they want. So I think I try to meet them where they're at and then go from there.
Hmm. So what do you mean by like meet them where they're at?
Not only on a fitness level, so
Hmm.
obviously like I need to program and do everything with that depending on where they're starting. But also just like where they're at in life. Like how's your
Okay.
family? How's your stress? Like is it kids? Is it work? Like are you putting yourself first? Because I think so many people, especially like as busy moms,
Hmm.
um, they're putting their kids first, they're putting their husband first, they're
Hmm.
putting their work, like all of these things, but then they forget about themselves. So I think if, and I tend to do this sometimes too, but now that I have everything like dialed in and to the best I can, then
Hmm.
it's like, all right, I need to make sure that I'm taking care of myself, that I need to make sure my cup is full so that I
Hmm.
can pour into others. Because if not, then it's I'm gonna get drained pretty quick. So I
Hmm.
think having those conversations with them and seeing like, all right, what does your day to day look like? Like,
Hmm.
what are you doing? Um, and then just making sure that you're eating right, you're actually working out, like you're taking care of yourself. And I think that will make so much more of a difference than just trying to hit a PR.
So I think, excuse me, some of these questions can be difficult and like deeper for some than others, right?
Yeah.
How do you know when to kind of break that barrier and when you can kind of dig a little bit deeper with a person? Or is this just right off the bat, bang, 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 we're gonna try to learn everything about you?
Uh,
How do you go about that process?
so that kind of just depends. again on the person, on like
Mhm,
how they're reacting to me. Like if they're, again, body language. So if they're sitting in the chair, so I sit on the circle table.
mhm,
Um, if they're sitting in the chair, their arms are crossed, like they have one word answers, like then I
mhm.
know it's not time to dig.
Yeah.
But if they're like open, they want to talk about the topic, then I can ask the questions. But sometimes you still stay closed off. I have people that are like, I've met them a couple times, had conversations, they're not seeing the results. So then it's time to be a coach and dig in. Be like, all right, like what is going on? How can I help you? So I think that's been, it's a little bit different depending on the person, but also
Mhm,
just a learning experience on like when to keep it superficial, when to go much deeper. And then if you're not seeing the results, then there has to be something missing.
mhm.
So
So,
then diving deeper into that.
okay. So someone that, let's say I was a new client, I'm
Yeah.
closed off, arms crossed, one word answers, things like that.
Yeah.
Do you think it's just the repetition of seeing them that's gonna help them open up? Or do you think it's something that you need to do better or change to allow them to open up more?
No, so I think it comes down to also the questions that you ask.
Mhm,
So asking the right questions is something that I've been learning.
okay,
Trying to pinpoint that thing and then just diving deeper into that. So sometimes that's where the uncomfortable conversations comes in. And
mhm,
it's like, all right, I know that you don't want to talk about this, but if we don't face that reality now, then nothing's ever going to change.
mm. So what is something that you have had to face within the last 6 months, um, that has changed you for better now?
Knowing that I can't do it alone.
Okay.
Uh, I think finding a good team, it has been one of the most important parts right now.
Mhm, mhm,
And then finding like, because I have my inner circle, I have my friend group,
mhm,
and I know that I have them to rely on. I have my family, I have their support. But
mhm,
now trying to grow a team with the same values and core like concepts that I want to run my company and want to provide that impact for people has
mhm,
probably been one of the hardest things. So like I've interviewed people, I've seen coaches come in. Yes, you might know the fitness, like how to get people results, but
mhm,
if I don't vibe with you, if I don't see that we're going to be on the same boat together, then you're not a good fit for my team.
mm,
So I think that has been something that I've had to let go of and be like, hey,
mhm.
this is still what I want and this is what I want on my team. But at the same time, I can't do it alone because I'll work myself to death.
So do you think did you have, like, uh, aside from, like, your business partners in your previous gym, had you hired people that you just didn't, like, vibe with, but hired them anyways because of their resume and what you
Um,
thought that they could do for
so
you?
at our previous gym, we already had like multiple trainers.
Okay.
So I actually had to do some firing.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
so that we hired, no, they were already on the team and we had to let them go.
Mm, okay,
Um, but now I think I'm just very selective with the people I want on my
okay.
team.
Alright. Um, I think this is a good place to wrap up here for today, but let me ask you, if you were not working in a gym or in the medical field, what would you do?
Oh, I've never thought about that. Okay. If I wasn't in the gym or the medical field, you take out my two favorite things, and now what? Um,
Yeah, strip you down.
what would I be doing? I would probably do like photography for like National Geographic and just go around
Okay,
and just take a whole bunch of pictures of things around the world.
okay. Alright, shit. That would be pretty sweet.
That would
Alright,
be
um, where can we find you, connect with you, things like that?
all right. So Instagram is my personal one is S Belmontez 14. And then all my business is Rev Strength LLC with Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff.
You're on TikTok too?
Yeah.
I didn't know you were on TikTok too. I only know people from Instagram because I don't have TikTok. So,
You should get TikTok.
no,
Why
don't need
not?
it. No, don't need it.
You think it's a time waster?
Yeah. I've had TikTok before and I feel like I had just been like sitting there and like scrolling on it and just like it's meant to be addictive.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so why do I need it?
So, I mean, you can use it productively.
Yeah, but I'm not going to use it productively. So I
Okay.
just don't
You
have it.
know yourself. You just set boundaries.
Yeah, I wouldn't use it productively. No, I'd sit there for hours and just watch people like dance or do like uh prank
There's
videos
a
or
lot more than
something.
just dancing on TikTok now.
Well, there's not on mine. Not on mine.
Well, that's
Dance
your fault.
dancing only.
Okay. All right. All right. All
So,
right.
all right. Thanks, Sandy.
No problem, Sean.